The crowd of 50,000 sat in bewildered silence, an unfamiliar stillness gripping the stadium. It wasn't the quiet before a concert, it was something else entirely, a collective holding of breath. Under the spotlight's harsh glare, anticipation thickened like fog. Maya walked to the center, her bare feet absorbing the floor's cold vibrations, her only rhythm. She was deaf, unable to hear the crowd's hush, but she felt their presence. Behind her, 100 performers stood in precise formation, a silent army awaiting her command. Maya raised her right hand, and the music that should have filled the stadium never came. Instead, 100 hands lifted in unison, a wave of motion cutting through the spotlight. The crowd, frozen in confusion, barely breathed as the silent performance began. From the moment she was born, Maya's silence was absolute. Her mother would call her name from the kitchen, but the newborn never turned. Pots clattered, voices rose. Nothing disturbed her peaceful slumber. She existed in a cocoon of quiet that no sound could penetrate. Doctors suspected something early on. At the hospital, they attached electrodes to her tiny head and sent beeps into her ears. The machine showed flat lines where brain waves should have danced. The hearing test was conclusive. Her mother watched, holding her breath. The diagnosis landed like a stone in still water: profound deafness. Maya would never hear a lullaby or a whisper. That silence became the canvas on which she would one day paint a new kind of music. It was the beginning of a world without sound. Maya placed her hands on a speaker, feeling the vibration of every beat. She would stand close to a guitarist, watching the strings blur as they shook. For her, music wasn't something to hear. It was a physical presence that could be touched. She imagined sound as ripples in water, spreading from every source. Like light waves traveling unseen, music was invisible energy. She began to see the world as a canvas of vibrations, the flicker of a light, the tremor of a passing truck. In her bedroom, Maya began signing songs, her hands dancing to rhythms only she could feel. She gathered a few friends, then more. They called themselves the Silent Choir, a group that spoke through motion. Their first rehearsal was 5 people in a living room, moving together in perfect quiet. In 7th grade, Maya stood before her music teacher and said she wanted to sing. The teacher laughed, not unkindly, but with genuine confusion. Around her, students exchanged glances of disbelief. Maya's cheeks burned, not from embarrassment, but from a slow building frustration. The teacher suggested she simply sit and observe the choir. The words landed like a door closing. Maya's fingers curled at her sides. Frustration settled deep in her bones. She could feel the eyes of her classmates waiting for her reaction. But she gave them nothing. Inside, a silent scream was building. In that quiet humiliation, something inside Maya turned to stone. It wasn't anger, but an unshakable resolve. From that moment, she knew she would make music her own way, without a single note. The seed of the Silent Choir was planted right there in that classroom, among the whispers and the doubt. In her bedroom, Maya placed a mirror against the wall. She pressed her bare feet to the floor, feeling the bass pulse through the wood. Her hands began to dance, carving shapes out of silence. She watched her reflection, seeing the music she could not hear become visible. Maya tied flowing fabric to her wrists, watching shadows stretch across the walls. Each sign became a ribbon of light, a silent language only the mirror understood. The fabric trailed behind her hands, like echoes of a sound that never came. Night after night, her hands grew fluent in a language no one else could hear, The girl in the mirror was becoming someone who could make silence feel louder than any song. She didn't know it yet, but these hours alone were laying the groundwork for something that would reach thousands. Maya gathered a handful of students after school in the old music room. Every afternoon, their silent rhythm filled the empty space. They practiced signing lyrics in perfect unison, hands moving like a choreographed dance without sound. Word by word, they built routines others would soon notice. Soon, the group performed at local gatherings, their synchronized hands telling stories without a single spoken word. Their movement was so precise it felt like watching a living poem. In the quiet of the town square, people stopped to stare. The small town began to whisper, some curious, some dismissive, but everyone watched. They called themselves the Silent Choir, and the name spread through the town like a secret. In a world built for sound, they created their own language. Every rehearsal strengthened their bond and their belief. While some doubted, Maya kept pushing, knowing their silent art could speak louder than any voice. An envelope with the National Youth Arts Festival logo arrived. Maya's mother read the letter aloud. They had seen the Silent Choir's online video and were amazed. 50,000 seats. A stage built for sound, but they wanted silence. Maya's hands shook, not with fear, but the weight of opportunity. Days later, the choir stood at the festival grounds, dwarfed by the scale. Cranes lifted speaker stacks as high as buildings. Stagehands ran cables across a floor that swallowed footsteps. The stage was vast, cold under Maya's bare feet during rehearsal. In that silent emptiness, they understood the magnitude of the opportunity. The invitation had come from a shaky phone video posted months ago. Now that small screen had opened a door to the nation's largest stage. Maya gathered the choir backstage under the stadium's growing hum. No music, no voices, just a circle of hands signing one word: ready. At night, the stadium blazed with light as crowds poured in. Their footsteps a rumble Maya sensed through the floor. She stood in the wings watching the stage glow, her heart pounding with the weight of 50,000 unseen faces. The air was electric with expectation. She slipped off her shoes, feeling the cold stage floor beneath her bare feet. Her only way to keep time. Nervous energy fluttered in her chest as she recalled every rehearsal, every doubt, every moment that led here. She took a deep breath, letting the vibrations of the distant crowd anchor her. When the announcer called their name, a ripple of confusion swept the stadium. Maya felt the shift in the floor's vibration, murmurs turning to silence. She stepped forward, her bare feet carrying her into the blinding light. Some applause broke out, hesitant, unsure what to expect. With a single gesture, 100 hands rose in perfect unison. No music played, only the silent poetry of fingers tracing loss and longing. Under the lights, their movements flowed like a wave, and the audience watched, breath held, as the silent choir transformed sign language into a visible symphony of emotion. The song was a story of a voice lost and found again. When hands mimicked falling rain, a hush fell deeper than silence. Tears streamed down faces in the stands. Thousands touched by a sound they never heard, as the wave of hands swept through the stadium lights. As the final sign faded, a breathless pause gripped 50,000. Then the stadium erupted, not with applause, but a raw, collective sob of wonder. Maya felt the roar through her feet, understanding what her ears never would. The most powerful sounds are often felt in silence. Backstage, The roar of applause still vibrated through the concrete floor. Maya stood with her choir, tears streaming down faces that had never heard a sound. The emotion was so thick it felt like its own music, a symphony of silent triumph. The next morning, a video of the interview went viral. At sunrise, Maya walked alone to a calm sea, feeling the rhythm of waves against her palms. She signed the ocean, a private conversation with a world that finally listened. The echo of that silent performance rippled outward like waves on the calm sea. Maya had proven that music lives not in the ears, but in the spaces between heartbeats. 50,000 people would never forget the moment sound became obsolete.